The camera zooms in on a quiet, family-owned diner, the hum of conversation mingling with the clinking of plates. A group of loud, intimidating bikers enters, their leather jackets adorned with hate-filled symbols. They scan the room, their eyes landing on a young, shy kid sitting alone in a corner booth, reading a book. His clothes are plain, his appearance ordinary. He looks like someone you'd never expect to cause trouble. But what they don't know, what no one in this room knows, is that this kid, this quiet, unassuming kid, has something inside him, something that could shatter their whole world. The bikers smirk, making crude jokes, slinging insults, and thinking they can intimidate him. The tension in the air thickens, and everyone in the diner holds their breath, waiting for the storm to come. What they don't realize is that this isn't just another kid they can push around. This kid is about to teach them a lesson they'll never forget, one they'll regret for the rest of their lives. You won't believe how far this kid will go. Before we jump into today's story, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. If you love powerful stories of justice, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, so you never miss what's coming next. Now, let's get started. In a small corner booth of the diner sits a young boy, no older than 16. His name is Malik, but you wouldn't know that by looking at him. He blends in like any other kid. Head down, eyes focused on the pages of his book. His clothes are simple, plain. Nothing that screams special, nothing that would catch your eye in a crowd. But if you looked closely, you'd see something in his eyes. A quiet determination. A fire, buried deep under the surface, waiting for the right moment to burn. Malik's life hasn't been easy. Raised by a single mother in a tough part of town, he's learned how to stay out of the way, how to keep his head down. But unlike most, Malik's never been afraid to speak up when it counts. He's seen too much, lived through too much to let injustice slide by unnoticed. He may not have the loudest voice, but his actions speak volumes. And as the bikers sit down, eyeing him like a target, Malik doesn't flinch. He remains calm, unfazed, as if he already knows what's coming. Because deep down, he does. He's been pushed, underestimated, and underestimated again. But this time, the tables are about to turn. They think they can break him. They think they've got the upper hand. But what they don't realize is that Malik is more than just a quiet kid reading a book. He's about to show them a side of themselves they've never seen before, one they'll regret provoking. The clinking of silverware and the hum of quiet chatter fade into the background as the bikers take their seats at the table nearest Malik. One of them, a hulking figure with a scar running down his face, shoots Malik a cold, piercing look. The others snicker behind him, their eyes filled with judgment. The leader, a man with a heavy, gruff voice, leans in, his words dripping with malice. "What's a little kid like you doing here, huh?" He sneers, eyeing Malik from head to toe. "This place isn't for your kind." Malik doesn't flinch. His fingers tighten around the edge of his book, but his expression remains neutral. The insults continue to fly, more direct now. A couple of bikers laugh, their voices loud, echoing across the diner. "Hey, kid, you don't belong here. Go back to where you came from." The words sting, but Malik doesn't respond. He knows better than to engage with people like this. But the injustice of it all boils his blood. Why should anyone, especially someone who hasn't even had a chance to live, be treated this way? His mother raised him better than that, taught him to stand his ground even when it's hard. The taunts grow louder, and the room starts to notice the commotion. Some patrons look away, uncomfortable, while others sit frozen, too afraid to intervene. The bikers take this as a sign of victory, their laughter growing. Malik can feel the weight of their hate pressing in on him, the injustice of their actions smothering the air. But it's in this moment, when they think they've got him cornered, that the shift begins. Because Malik isn't just some kid to be pushed around. He's got something they don't expect, a silent power, an inner strength that he's about to unleash. The tables are turning. The storm is coming, and the bikers won't know what hit them. The taunts continue, but Malik's expression remains calm, almost detached. His eyes flicker over the bikers, not out of fear, but of something else, something sharp. He shifts in his seat, and for the first time, his fingers stop tracing the edges of his book. He takes a deep breath, and the room seems to hold its breath with him. No one sees it coming. Not the bikers, not the patrons, and certainly not the man who's been tormenting him. The biker leader slams his fist on the table, sending a plate crashing to the ground. He sneers, his voice rising in fury. "I said, go back to where you came from." Malik's hand moves just slightly, barely noticeable to anyone else, but to the bikers. It's a shift they'll soon regret. With a smooth, almost calculated motion, he stands up. His book is set aside, forgotten for now. His body seems to grow taller, as though the weight of his calmness shifts into something formidable. His eyes lock with the biker leader, and for the first time, the man's smirk falters. Malik speaks, his voice quiet, yet it cuts through the tension like a knife. "You have no idea who you're dealing with." The words hang in the air for a moment, and the bikers laugh, not realizing how wrong they are. But something about Malik's demeanor makes them pause, if only for a second. That pause is all he needs. As they snicker at him, Malik's posture shifts. His calmness, the very thing they've mocked, now appears like a carefully controlled storm. He steps closer to the table, his presence radiating something that no one could have predicted. This isn't just a kid who's been pushed around. This is someone who's been watching, learning, waiting for the right moment. And that moment has arrived. Malik's hidden role, the one they've been blind to, is about to come crashing down on them, and they won't know how to stop it. The tension in the room becomes unbearable. Every eye is on Malik now, but none of the bikers back down. The leader grins, thinking Malik's words are just the desperate talk of someone who knows they're outmatched. But Malik's eyes don't leave his. They burn with a quiet intensity that makes the air crackle. For a brief moment, the room seems to shrink, the space between them charged with something no one can name. The bikers exchange confused glances, unsure whether to laugh or get angry. The leader leans forward, his face twisted in a sneer. "What are you gonna do, kid? You think you can take me on?" Malik doesn't flinch. He knows that this isn't about a physical fight. This is about proving something deeper, something they can't see, something they've been too blind to notice. As he looks around the room, Malik senses the undercurrent of fear, the silent hope that someone, anyone, will step in. But no one does. Everyone waits for him to make the next move, and he knows what they're thinking. "He's just a kid," they'll say. "He doesn't stand a chance." But Malik's gaze shifts once again. The bikers haven't noticed the shift in power, the change in the atmosphere. Their arrogance blinds them to the fact that Malik is more than they could ever imagine. They think they have the upper hand, but the truth is, they've made a fatal mistake. They've underestimated someone who's been biding his time, learning the art of silence and patience. As the bikers press on, trying to intimidate him further, Malik does something unexpected. He starts to move, his steps calculated, slow, deliberate. Each step is a quiet challenge, a subtle declaration that he's not afraid. But it's not just his movements that send a chill through the air, it's what he knows, what he's figured out. The pieces of the puzzle are falling into place, and Malik is now moving toward them with purpose. The bikers still don't see it coming. They're too focused on mocking him, too consumed by their own arrogance. But Malik sees them clearly now. He knows their weaknesses, their flaws, and when he's ready, he'll use them against them in ways they could never predict. The room goes deathly silent, the kind of silence that settles over everything before a storm. The bikers finally notice the shift in Malik's demeanor. His calmness isn't fear, it's focus, it's precision. The leader laughs, a low, grating sound, not understanding the magnitude of his mistake. "You really think you can scare me, kid?" he mocks, but Malik's response is swift. Without warning, Malik moves. He doesn't run, doesn't charge in blindly. He's calculated, efficient, his movements like a shadow. Fast, precise. In one fluid motion, he disarms the biker, effortlessly spinning his wrist, causing the man's weapon to fall from his hand. The shock on the biker's face is priceless. It's the moment everything changes. Malik's voice cuts through the tension, low but commanding. "I told you. You have no idea who you're dealing with." The biker leader stumbles backward, his smirk now replaced with confusion. The other bikers stand frozen, unable to comprehend what just happened. They thought Malik was weak, easy prey for their intimidation, but they couldn't have been more wrong. In one swift, almost imperceptible motion, Malik takes the lead biker's jacket, pulling it off and tossing it aside. The tattoos on his own arms, tattoos of martial disciplines, of techniques and strategies learned through years of hard work, are now visible. His calm, unassuming exterior shatters, revealing a side of Malik they could never have imagined. He's not just a kid with a book, he's a trained fighter, someone who's spent years mastering skills that could take down anyone who thinks they're above him. The bikers now realize, too late, that they've been facing a storm this whole time. Malik isn't just defending himself, he's controlling the fight, drawing them in, letting them underestimate him until it's too late. And just when it seems like the bikers might try to retaliate, Malik makes his final move, a move that leaves them reeling, unable to recover from the shock of his true power. The bikers are on the ground, stunned and defeated. Their leader, still dazed, stumbles to his feet, his eyes wide in disbelief. The others, too shocked to fight back, can only watch as Malik stands over them, his posture calm but resolute. He doesn't gloat, doesn't relish the victory. He simply looks down at them, his expression one of quiet understanding. "You wanted to teach me a lesson," Malik says, his voice steady. "But I think it's you who needed one." The bikers don't respond. They can't. They've been utterly exposed, both by their own arrogance and by Malik's hidden strength. There's no comeback, no excuse for their behavior. They came to the diner looking for trouble, and they found something they never expected. The room is silent now, except for the distant hum of conversation and the clinking of plates. The other patrons who once watched in fear now exchange glances, some of them nodding in silent respect. Malik turns, his eyes scanning the room, and for a moment, it's as if the world outside the diner fades away. His mother's words echo in his mind. Never back down from what's right, even if you stand alone. As Malik walks out of the diner, his head held high, he knows the lesson he's learned. It's not about strength or fighting. It's about standing firm in your beliefs, about never letting others define your worth, and that, no matter how many times you're underestimated, there will always be a moment when you rise up, when you show the world your true power. The moral is clear. Never let anyone decide your value. You are stronger than they think, and when the time comes, you'll show them who you really are. The greatest power lies in the courage to be yourself. Thank you for watching. Maya's story reminds us that standing up for what's right can create lasting change. Whether it's overcoming adversity or challenging injustice, your voice matters. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts on the story. Let's keep this conversation going. And remember, sharing these stories helps spread the message of justice and fairness, one act of courage at a time. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it today.